Hello and welcome back. In this lecture, I will introduce you to code injection and assembly editing. There are two main methods of hacking games. First is memory editing, and second is assembly, or also known as code editing. In memory editing, we are concerned with finding pointers and data structures for data, for example health, and then modifying them. In assembly or code editing, we are concerned with modifying code and or injecting code. This method is also used for cracking software. Some software are protected with packers. In those types of software, we cannot patch the files, so we can use this method, injecting code, to crack the software protection, or more accurately, to bypass the software protection. This is what a disassembled code looks like. This is taken from the memory viewer panel of the Cheat Engine program. And as you can see here, the left column is the address of the instructions. The center column is the machine language. And this is the machine language which we humans cannot understand. But Cheat Engine will disassemble it and reproduce it in human readable form, known as assembly language. And in this line here, you can see there is an instruction DEC, followed by ESI in brackets. DEC is an assembly language instruction to decrement a value. Decrement means to -1. And the bracket ESI here means to decrease the value stored at the address of ESI. So ESI could be an address storing the health or even the ammo. So this instruction here is to decrease your ammo. So one way to hack this to cause it not to decrease is to replace this instruction with nothing. What do you mean by nothing? In assembly language, there is an instruction called NOP, which stands for no operation. So if you were to replace this instruction with NOP, then your health or your ammo will never be decreased. Every time the instruction comes to this line, there will be a no operation, and it will just continue with the rest. Another way is to inject code. So as you can see in this diagram, we have replaced the DEC instruction with a jump instruction, JMP. And JMP jumps to this address. And this is the address where we inject further of our own code. So when it comes to this line, it will jump to our own code located at this address. And this is the address where we injected our additional code. So this location in memory was actually blank, empty, but it is an executable part of the memory. And what we did was, we inject code in the blank, empty region. This method of hacking is also known as inline assembly or code caves. Code caves or inline assembly is where we inject additional code inside the process memory. So this is the memory of the running process, and this method works by looking for an empty space in the process memory and injecting additional code in there. So in this case, we have jumped to this location where we injected this additional code, and so we will run our own program, our own instruction. So this instruction here will move 20 ammo into ESI, the address pointed to by ESI. So this effectively reloads our ammo, and this 14 is a hexadecimal representation of 20. After doing that, it will perform all the rest of the original instruction, and then here it will jump back to the location just after the previous jump. So when it reaches this line here, 6008, it will go back up to our previous location. And so we come back to here and execute the rest. So this is the place where we jump to our injected code, and this is the place where we come back to after executing our injected code. So this is how code injection works. Now, in order to understand or take advantage of this code injection, you may need to know some basic assembly language. And here I've listed some very basic instructions. Move EX1 means copy 1 into the EX register. DEC-EX means decreases the value in EX by 1. RNC-EX means increments the value in EX by 1. Jump 22032EA1 means jump to this address. There are also instructions where you can control the flow of the program. For example, this is called a decision control structure. So in here, CMP EX1 means you compare EX to 1, and then if the value in EX is equals to 1, you will jump. So JE means jump if equal. You will jump to this address. Then there's another variation. Here, we jump if not equal. So here we are comparing the value in EBX register to 3. If EBX is not equal to 3, that means jump not equal, then it will go to this address. So this is just the opposite of this. Another variation is testing then jump. Test EX means to test if EX is 0. So this is a weird instruction where you have the same register for the source and the destination. The effect of it is to test whether or not the value in EX is 0. Same with down here. If you put two registers as identical names for the source and destination, you are testing whether it is 0. So in this case here, if EX is equals to 0, then you will jump to this location, this address. That is the meaning of JE. On this second example, you will jump if not equal. So in this example, you will test if EBX is 0. If EBX is not equal to 0, then jump to this address. Now, these are some of the 4 basic reversing codes, and you will use this quite often in many of the assembly editing injection, as well as when you are cracking software. First is no-op. Whenever you see any instruction which you do not want the program to perform, you can replace that code with NOP, no operation. So the effect of no operation is to delete an instruction. Then, if you see any kind of JE and you want the jump to happen irrespective of the test, whether it's true or false, then you can replace JE with JMP. Same thing with JNE. If there is an instruction jump not equal and you want it to jump anyway, you can replace it with JMP. And then this one is what we have just seen. If you any instructions which you don't want to execute but you want to inject code, you can replace this instruction with a jump, and you must specify the address. So this is the architecture of a code injection. For example, if you have an instruction where your health is being decremented or your ammo is decremented and you want to inject code instead of running this, so you will replace this line with a jump. So you replace with a jump, and then when the code comes to this line, when the program comes to this line, it will jump to this address 0700AB04, which is over here. And inside here, you will inject whatever instructions of your own which you want, and it will perform all the instructions here. You will execute injected instruction. and at the end of this instruction, it will jump back to 0706521. So this is an example of an address of the location after the previous jump. So this instruction here always comes after the injected code, and it will take you back to the top, to the line after this, and execute the rest of the instruction normally. So this is some of the background knowledge which you need to know before you can start to write assembly editing code or to write your own injected scripts. Thank you for watching. In the next coming videos, we will be making use of this basic knowledge to write our own scripts and to inject them into the game. Thank you for watching.